What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 8 Limbs Podcast. Today we have an awesome guest. Welcome Max Willett from Maxed Out Private Insurance Sales Team. We're going to talk all things insurance and also this man's style, his dedication to excellence, and how much he puts into branding and marketing. So, Max, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Tony. It's a pleasure. It's great to connect with you and, always young, hungry entrepreneurs that are pushing forward in the community and leading people. It's good to chop it up and talk. So thank you for having me here today.
I appreciate it, bro. That's actually how we met, right? We met at RiseCon. So There's something special about that when you meet somebody at a place that you wouldn't be if you weren't already on that path.
Correct.
Which is exactly that. It's like I saw you on the stage at RiseCon, and actually the first thing I noticed with you was Amal, who's Vic Tipton's assistant, posted you on the behind the scenes of your inside of your jacket. And it's like this branding.
The logo.
And I didn't even know who it was, but that's the beauty of like trusting others because I know Amal. I was like, if she's sharing him, this dude's probably someone I should follow. So I followed you that morning. I was like, oh, boom, follow. Wow. That's how I connected. I'm like, she wouldn't share him if he was a nobody, wasn't doing anything. So that was pretty dope, And then we got a chance to see you talk on stage. And the thing I thought was most impressive is you brought so many people in that room when they were introducing the teams. And you probably remember this. They were like, hey, we've got, and Allie Russell's client of ours, we do media for the KVA team. She's like, we got the KVA group, and it's like quiet. And they had this other guy, and all of a sudden, we have Max Willett from the Maxed Out team, and you stand up, and it's like, Maxed Out, where are you guys at? And this crowd erupts from behind us. We're like, how many people are in here with this guy's company? So I felt this huge amount of energy and pride in that organization, which is like cool for company culture. Where's that come from and why?
Yeah, culture really is the force behind everything that we do. First of all, it's helping other people, and I'll get to that in terms of how our products work in terms of putting clients in the better position with their health insurance. For me, it's about really pushing forward in this industry, in this private health insurance space, and bringing up people into that opportunity and showing them the way with a entrepreneurial mindset of how they can develop, and really just following the lead that I've laid out there and my business partners and leaders that have helped me scale the team. So I think for RiseCon, we were about 75 people deep in there.
Yeah,
and
it's a lot.
Coming into it, some of my people hadn't been to events before like that, conferences, and they were not knowing what to expect. And, there was some money behind getting into that room as well. So they followed suit with what I, portrayed to them as what this is going to be for you to learn the game from people that are doing it at extremely high level, better than me or anybody they've probably met with some of those A-list speakers that were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think Vic did a great job of curating a lineup of people that were diverse and complementing each other with their messages and delivery and everything. So, when I told the sales force I'm going to be up there, of course they're representing, bringing the energy. We're really big on energy.
It made you look good. That's the best way to put it. They made you look good. Like day one, before you even went up, they announced that we had some local people in there, and it was like that. I'd already followed you by that morning, but I was like, who is this dude? Why are people so stoked about him? So I'm sure other people were thinking that, so that's a good thing. Yeah,
I think culture is why people stay. We all work for income, right? We got to show up, we work hard, we want to make a lot of money. But at the same time, it's like, what are you a part of and who are you doing it with? Yeah. And when people are like-minded, they're hungry, they want to help people, they're doing business ethically the right way, it's contagious, that energy, and it attracts more people. And that's really, Tony, what I'm in the business of now. I've developed leaders that can help do the trainings, and sell the products. It's more about recruiting and marketing and advertising, and that's the space I'm really in now within this community and beyond, to bring people in that are a good fit for our team, that we can provide value from both parties.
Yeah, I love it. Going back to Rise real quick, I want to touch, who was the speaker that you think you benefited the most from? Either the story you liked the most, because a lot of those guys I've listened to already, but I want your take on this.
I love Tim Grover. I grew up, Michael Jordan was my role model.
You're an athlete.
I was an athlete growing up, of course, even into college, and training Michael and Kobe and having that top 0.1% performer in the world and how to get them to even the next level. And I love what he said about, people that are obsessed give interested people in the world something to talk about. So you really have to be obsessed with your craft to be in that top 0.1%.
Yeah.
And, the space I've stepped into here, I'm obsessed with growing it and helping people come up. But Tim was great. I got to meet him backstage, take some pictures and hang out. And he was very humble.
Dude, he was awesome. We were waiting for valet the final day or the second day with him and his wife. And we were downstairs, and here he comes, and just chilling there, going to dinner.
Right.
And we talked to him for like 10 minutes, and I was exactly, he was the most humble I could have expected him to be, Actually, it was funny when Grant went up and like dissed him on stage. I could tell the whole
Oh,
room's like, bro, he's got more fans than you in this room. You know, it's funny. He's like, he's my boy. I'm glad he clarified that.
I know.
Because at first I was like, yo, that was dirty.
That was
dirty.
much. I agree.
But he's like, Tim Grow was a friend of mine. He clarified it. And I looked at Tim and he was laughing. And I was like, okay. It seems like
and
it's
it seems like they've done some events and things before.
Yeah, they know each
they're
other.
Probably bullshitting each other.
Yeah.
Alex Morton is someone I've been following coming up to this. That
he teaches Bob Proctor's material,
Yep.
which I love. Bob, man. I mean, it's like when he showed the photo of him, I was like, yes, exactly. The material is the same, so I loved him too.
The thoughts lead to feelings,
Yeah.
lead to actions, lead to results, and mindset is so important in anything when you're doing our lives, and especially in something like building an insurance team, any type of team. You know, when you have mastered the skills, which we teach in hands-on training for these agents every day, it's like it's mind over matter. And when you have that mindset to be able to push through the hard times and overcome adversity and get up when you get knocked down, that's what's going to take you to the next level and really make you a top performer. So things that Alex talks about with coming from Bob Proctor, obviously, I really aligned with those things. I've been watching him before he got there.
Me too.
So
I loved it.
I liked his energy too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, he was, and it's funny because that just goes to show too. That's just a perfect example of how like not everyone's cup of tea. We were eating in one of the rooms upstairs where like it was level 2 where we had our food, and we're sitting there too. And one of the speakers like, I did not like that guy. I did not like the guy, and was like, why? I'm like, he's just too aggressive. And I'm like, I love that guy. Right. I was hyped from his energy, but the same energy that put her off put me on. And I was like, you can't be everyone's cup of tea. But I don't think he cared that she wasn't a fan, because a lot of people were a fan. Got a lot of new follows that weekend, and I'm sure.
You can't. You have to be authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
That's Alex, and he's not great for everybody, but all around the world, he's revered by people that come and see him. And I think anything we do in our lives, in our businesses, our families, we just have to be authentic and true to ourselves and be who we are. And people will like it or they won't.
That's it.
But
you'll attract the ones who know who they're dealing with. Too.
Right. And I just feel like, doing right by others and creating abundance in the world, good is going to come to you. And maybe it doesn't come that minute, but I really believe in karma is real. So just doing right by others, trying to put them in the right position, you're going to advance in your life if you're operating in that way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that too, I mean, even Zach, MD Motivator, his stuff was so awesome. He was in here the weekend after we did.
I saw that.
Him, and he's so cool. Again, very humble, very chill guy. The amount of views, amount of shares, and it's one thing I asked him right here in this chair. Is I was like, hey, what would you recommend someone do if they see your videos and they get inspired and they want to go replicate it? And he was kind of like, you don't need to film it. He's like, we film it because it helps get crowdfunding. He's like, but it doesn't always have to be filmed. You can just do it. And I was like, so true, because you don't need to always make it, hey, look what I did. That's kind of for the wrong reasons now. It's like, he's like, that's not why I did this. He's like, I did it because it inspires others, and it also now we have crowdfunding behind it. That's how we got Kim K and Kevin Hart. And basically, I did a lot of things that were not filmed.
Big names.
Before, So that was dope.
And Zach, just like many of these guys, but especially Zach, was the most humble, down-to-earth, just trying to even give back to you and be grateful and want to take pictures with everybody. And like, I just love what he's about. I think that helping people and the right people and I like how he starts those type of videos by them giving the little dollar or whatever it starts with, by them doing that right gesture or good deed, and then he does the big one, and it's just like paying that forward
to see who's who. Right, exactly. So I wonder how many, I didn't ask him this, I wonder how many takes you have to go through to see people actually do
some
the right
people
thing.
I don't have that dollar, man. I need that dollar. But
that's so true. That's
the
so
people
true.
that pay it forward, and then he really gives back to them. And what does that do? That inspires other people to just do good in the world. And it's not just when the cameras are rolling, like you said. You just got to operate that way, and good things are going to come back to you. So Zach's the man for sure.
But I had an amazing time there. I think for my personal favorites were, I was really impressed with Magic Johnson's story. I didn't know his story, so it was just impressive to me, the enterprise, that ability to make some cash and then use it like that.
700 Starbucks.
There's so many in the movie theater things. It was impressive. And Grant, Uncle G, who I have downstairs in the TV, like the 10X book, 10X rule is something that I model my business after. So like that book was really life-changing for me. And so it's good to hear his mentality so much. And that, I sell advertising, I sell exposure, but like you know, seeing him live and hearing the intensity he spoke with, I was like, that's what really stuck with. That's why she came. That's why we were so, you know, so excited to see.
I followed him, but I didn't know what to expect as much with his demeanor, even though he shows what he shows online. But I mean, he was talking some shit. He was really to the point. He was funny, which was engaging with people with his stories. And I love the story about going into Dubai with the guns and the money.
26, yeah.
And the real message there, because, you know, the saying is, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, right? That's the common one.
Yeah.
But he changed that perspective to, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you.
That's it.
And, you know, when you're in the marketing and branding space, which we're all trying to get forward in that area, you got to put your name out there and you got to be in their face. Click the link, click the link, click the link.
Yeah, we said, so the reason I actually taught a class today at Keller Williams earlier.
Nice.
And when I was explaining is like, here's why it's all about who you know doesn't make sense anymore. Because here, I'll give you a quick example. You've got a friend's girlfriend and she says, I know the owner of this restaurant. Mm-hmm. And come here, Steve, come over. You can feel right away that when Steve walks over that table, he's like, who is this chick?
Right.
Why does she think she knows me? Why is she clout chasing? It's not the same as him knowing you.
Correct.
Of him going, hey, Steph, what's going on here? That is a very different thing. So people don't misunderstand that. You know them, but they don't know you. And that's what people, it's different if we hang out, we're friends, you come to my house, I go to your house. That's knowing someone. But there's a big difference. And if someone recognizes you in public and say, yo, I see, like RiseCon, it was such a good test for me to know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because the amount of people that I've never met, it goes, bro, I see your videos everywhere. And I was like, great. So it's working. You know, it's like a reminder of that, right?
And I love people that capitalize off that event and weren't just be there for the entertainment. Like we talked earlier, and you said instead of going out and partying at night, you were getting content ready to go, and you were capitalizing on that event and connecting with as many people as you could. I
appreciate you.
You know, people that really, I mean, I was writing just like being a student. Like Alex talked about, I was writing all these sort of notes and actually going back in my life and starting to implement them every day. You know, no matter what level we're at, which I still feel like I'm at entry levels of where we're going in this world, we can always get better and we can always be a student. And you have to keep that mindset. You're never the man. There's always people doing it 10 times better than you. Yeah. And we always have to learn and be a sponge and soak up that information. So shout out to all of you that went to RiseCon, that really took full advantage of what it had to offer and learned from all these A-list speakers and panelists, and went back and shared that with other people as well, because knowledge is power. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be selfish with that. We're speaking right now on a platform for viewers to listen, right? People were at that event. A lot, I mean, it was recorded. Vic's going to continue to get that content out there, and everybody that was in the audience, like, we learned a lot, and let's continue to spread that to others.
Yeah, I agree with that. And even just to circle back, like why I think it's so important to go there with the incentive and the intention to grow is I felt like okay, first of all, I have some theories on life. We're just talking like some of my views in the world. I feel like a lot of things are just meant to test the committed.
Yep.
And so it's like shiny object syndrome is real. So like you can have a great partner, but you can get distracted by all the pretty girls that walk by, right? You can have a really good focused business, but you get distracted by all these good sales with this new opportunity, and you're drifting. And it's like you can go to RiseCon, and you can know you got 3 days to be there and to be focused and be your best at early in the morning, but you can get caught up going out every single night and getting shit-faced, which a lot of people did. So you saw them come in Saturday morning looking all gross. They're all just like hungover. They're not sharp in their wits anymore. They're losing their charisma and their pop and their vocabulary because they're there, but they're a shell of themselves. And so I went with the intention of like, this ain't that for me, bro. This is something I paid to be there, and I'm going to use it. So I knew. And I love seeing Daniel on stage talking about timely. He was talking about the 4 types of content you make, right? Yep. Things that learn, things that are interesting, timely content. And so I was like, if I can shoot, and we have a full editing team, so I don't edit video anymore. However, I was like, I have to, because my team, this is the weekend, so they're not editing videos for me at nighttime. I go home at RiseCon at 7. I went to the gym, had a workout, got home, edited videos at night, posted that night. Here's day 1 recap for who I loved at RiseCon. And that's what caught Vic's attention, because like, hey, these are great videos. You're fast with it. I was like, yeah, because now it's timely. Now people are still excited, and that way they see me day 1. By day 2, oh, it's that guy that made those videos last night, so they're remembering me by day 2, you know?
It's so valuable in being present in the moment, and that's what people are engaged with. I mean, we're in a social world. That is a way to connect with others and market and get yourself out there, and especially when you're giving free game to them. You're doing these reviews about things you learned, right? And you're providing others value, and of course they want to tune in and continue to come back and keep watching. So that was a good move on your part, and I appreciate it because I was watching it too, learning.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I love it. This episode of the 8 Limbs Podcast is brought to you by 7 Day Social Realtor, your one-stop shop for all things real estate social media. It is an all-included course that teaches you how to shoot content, how to utilize content, how to make viral reels, and how to actually get yourself new leads and new listings with content in social media. You can find them at 7 Day Social Realtor on Instagram, as well as 7daysocialrealtor.com. Use code 8limbs for 10% off. I mean, it was obviously repurposing others' content, but I think it's just the gist of, I was like, hey, like, there was the post event, like an edition, sure, but like those speakers were not out until 12 o'clock getting drunk.
Hell no.
People that are on stage don't live life like that. And it was something that when Vic was doing Q&A, I didn't get a chance to get up to ask this question, but this is the question I was going to talk to him about, was like, what's your process to do this? Because the first piece of content I ever saw from Vic Tipnis, and why I followed him, was him saying, I'll quote him, he's like, "You'll never catch me in a club, dude." He's like, "What am I going to lose sleep so I can be in a place with loud music where I'm going to be drinking?"
Saw that one too.
And that's the piece of content. I was like, I fuck with this guy. This is how I feel. It's like, right? So I feel like those things are tricks. And of course, there's time to celebrate. It's very different when you're in a sales business, because if you hit a record month, a record sale, hell yes, live your life with the fullness where you go celebrate that night. Let's go. We're going to steakhouse. We're going to ball it out. But the people who do it every single weekend, I don't see those people win in life.
I know. And really in life, in business, whatever it be, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You have to celebrate the wins. You have to be present in the process, right? It's not just about the destination. You have to reward yourself in the moment and enjoy the process. But the next morning, you got to get right back to it like the Rents do again. You can't, can't get in your trophy room. Because momentum's real. And when you start to build it, you know, if we say, okay, we're doing it really well, let me let my foot off the gas, your whole pipeline, your whole momentum is now halted. And now you have to create that movement again forward. And once you got it, you got to keep that foot on the gas.
That's well said. That's the problem with the real estate business compared to the insurance business, I think, unless it's the same. But I made a video last year, is like, you know, reasons to not use 8 Limbs Creative. I was like, if you are the guy who you just want to make your first $10,000, you take the girl from Hinge and a trip to Tulum. And I was like, then don't use our services because you're going to be too busy to deal with that. And that's what we feel like. They sell a house, they make 10, 20K. They're chilling for a few months. Then they go, oh shit, there's $2,000 left in the bank. Let's get back on the hustle. And it's like, why don't you just stay consistent and stack up a couple hundred, then you can take that vacation. So I'm not sure. Let's talk about the insurance business now, because there's a lot I did not know about it. And so being able to connect with a lot of you guys and the insurance world, I don't know much. I mean, I know some from having Chad Douglas in there yesterday and really getting some insights from shooting content with him. But there is different ways to make money, which I didn't know about. There's also a company culture which incentivizes performance, which I love. I was bringing this up. I saw Prita getting presented a Rolex on one of her videos. I'm not sure who that was from, where that was from. Is that from you?
That was for her performance from the team, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just seeing some things on content. I'm like, yo, people are doing well in this business. Let's talk about insurance. What do people not know about it? If you're selling cars, you're selling solar, you're great with the sales, and you're like, hey, maybe I'm in the wrong business. Why would they go to real estate? Or sorry, insurance.
So let me just share too how I got into this and kind of how it correlates. And you're competitive athlete for years and years and years, right? I was too. Basketball, football, baseball, lacrosse, track and field, even into college. I went to University of Tampa, had a hospitality background, bartending. I started in clubs, got into fine dining. I opened Eddie V's Prime Seafood that you probably know in 2014. And a group of people were at my bar one night that were waiting for their table, getting apps and drinks from me. And they had great energy, and they were young and seemed hungry, and they were dressed nice. And you know, they liked the service I was providing them, and they liked my personability or whatever it is, and they offered me to come in and hear about their company. And I had a limited mindset at the time.
I love the story already.
I wasn't looking for growth or change or challenge or anything like that. I was kind of cool and comfortable working kind of part-time with the mindset of like the realtor you just talked about.
Short-term
that
focus.
I made 10K cool. I'm going to chill until I get back to that bank account low and let me go hustle again.
Yeah.
So I wasn't getting ahead in life. And I was comfortable, which is a bad fucking word. And I declined their offer respectfully and said, thank you guys, but I'm going to go back to making my martinis over here. Enjoy your dinner. Started to wait on them a couple months in a row. They would take their top performers out for winners' dinners. And I'm looking at some of the people that they're with, too, and they're dressed nice, but I'm like, you know, if they can do it, why can't I? Like, what are they doing that they have Rolexes and Mercedes-Benz keychains and not, you know? So I got interested and I said, okay, guys, finally, I'm going to come check out a group information. I'm going to hear what your company's about and see if it's a good fit. So I did. I came in, I sat through that, and I said, you know what? I'm getting to be almost late 20s, 30 here, and it's going to be time for myself to take the next step because there's no growth in where I'm at. There's no next level. There's no higher income. It's just kind of coasting. So I decided to bet on myself and go into the insurance industry and take the leadership and guidance of the people that initially talked to me about this, that I was looking at as someone I would be aligned with to do business with. And I learned the game in the first even month. I was completely out of bartending. I started, you know, just doing weekends at the bar until I transitioned out after a month or a month and a half, started to see the income, started to see the real light, the potential, the passive residual income, and the culture.
So we were selling insurance.
Selling,
First move you made was
first was I was a personal producer.
Yes.
And I was learning to what we do within our company. It's private, medically underwritten health insurance, where we help people all around the country understand what options they have for coverage. Employer benefits through the state, which is Obamacare, income-based coverage, and then private medically underwritten insurance, which is what we specialize in. So our team, our agents, myself at the time as a writing agent, as a personal producer, would reach out to families that put in requests that need help with insurance, and we'd help them understand what's available to them and help them get into the best position with their benefits and obviously their budget, and just give them the best value of what are their meds, what are their pre-existing conditions, the doctors they need, really provide them value and help them get set up in the right plan. And we make a significant income in the process. Really, three entities win, Tony, when you're ethically doing right by the client, right? Some people in sales or insurance, they get some kind of rep that you're just turn and burn and trying to make a buck. But when you're putting the client first and you're really listening to their needs and getting them in a policy that they're going to stay on, everybody wins because the client continues to pay premiums every month. They're on a plan that works for themselves. The insurance company collects those premiums, and the agent collects that passive residual income. Now, we all work off commission. We're 1099, 100% commission based, you know, and I like that because you really, I believe people in this world should get paid based on their performance, based on how they actually do their jobs. With the passive residual income, it's different than selling a house or a car or a solar panel or a cell phone.
It's not just one time.
It's not just the one sale you make. It's you do right by the client, and they pay you every month forever while you're sleeping. And that is the multiplier. That is the game changer, how we really compound our income and create wealth, create generational wealth. So all three parties win, the client, the agent, and the insurance company. So
One thing to add to that real quick that I thought was interesting. So Seth was in here, and he said something that made, we were shooting content, and this, going to the ethics of it, he was like, the difference in what we do and like a car salesman. It's like if a car salesman sold you a car, the price that they get you to pay that car, they can go up to 30 grand, but the car's worth 22. That 8 grand is just more money they got out of you. You didn't get any better car. You got the same car you went in there. Right. He's like, but with insurance, if that client pays their money, they're getting more better coverage. He's like, so they're not wasting any money. They're getting more for what they're paying.
Exactly.
So if you can sell someone to higher, they're getting more as well, which I thought was awesome.
Correct. And it's not turn and burn. You have to think about longevity. The way you win is creating relationships with other people. I teach so much on the psychology of sales, understanding how other people think, providing them value, active listening, really knowing what is this problem they have and being able to offer a solution. At the end of the day, when you have great products behind you in whatever industry you're in, Tony, they're going to sell. The client is buying you. How you make them feel, the rapport you build with them, the trust factor, the longevity of the relationship. That's how that residual income works. And what happens when I get that family or small business or individual in the right position with their insurance, they send me their mother, brother, sister, friend referral, and it's the easiest sale you ever made. So that's how you, and that's what I teach people to do it. The ethics, absolutely, you need to do it the right way.
Let me ask you if you think this is why that is, too. I'm listening to one of Grant Cardone's sales book called Sell or Be Sold, and he goes into the concept of validating your purchase. So he's like, think about this for a second. If you think about someone goes to a dentist and they go get like a dental work done, he goes, they are telling you about their dentist. Man, my dentist is awesome. You got to go see him. You got to go see him. He's like, they don't really give a shit if you go to their dentist. They're validating the money they just spent. right? For instance, you've got a nice G-Wagon. You might go tell someone how much you love the G-Wagon. You might be tempted to be evangelistic about it, but it doesn't benefit you at all if someone else buys it. But you're like, we do it. Like, I bought a bed last year that was a temperature control bed that cools me when I sleep.
Nice.
It's called 8 Sleep. I could not stop talking about it. And I have no deal with the company. And he's like, the psychology of it is they want to validate the money they spent. They want you to approve, yeah, that was a good spend, bro. That was a good purchase.
Right.
So if someone buys health insurance or a marketing package or whatever, and they're excited about it, they'll go tell everyone about it because they're like, hey, this is great, right? This is good, right? And they're like, yeah, it is. But it really is. It's
they
like,
want the validation that their money was well spent. Completely agree.
Exactly. So I think that's so okay. So you got into it. You're selling insurance.
Yep.
And then how did they go from that? How old are you now, by the way?
I'm 34.
34. So you were 30. So
yeah,
4-year
4
journey.
years. Yep.
So you're in a 4-year journey. How did it go from Max selling individual healthcare
It went
plans
from me being a personal producer and already being the top personal producers in the company in my first year because I really sacrificed. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is not that difficult. If you found the right vehicle in life of where you're going to apply yourself, learn the knowledge from the people around you that are doing it better than you, and really sacrifice in terms of time, effort, energy, engagement, and that's what I did, and I went all in on it. And then I said, okay, I like helping these clients, but there's a lot of other people around here now that I'd known, even as previous bartenders.
That's it.
And they're not now where I'm at. We're making multiple 6-figure income in my first year, and my first 3 agents on my team were 3 bartenders from Eddie V's that I brought in.
Let's talk about that for a second because I want to move past that too quickly. My first career, I was a chef. So I worked in hospitality for 8 years. I've worked at every job from busser to general manager to bartender to chef, every position in the restaurant, okay? And that hustle is what made me really good in sales as well. And so tell me if you think this is why. One, when I was a salary GM, I was putting in 80 plus hours a week with no performance pay. So I lived at that restaurant for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and someone called in, I was there.
Right.
And so you learn what real hustle is and sacrifices anyway. So when you come from hospitality, you're a bit more durable. I feel like you're more durable.
Yes.
And then you also, if you're on the front of the house, you're learning to be charismatic and conversational with a wide variety of people. So it could be some Karen soccer moms. I could talk to them all day.
Exactly.
It could be a bunch of golfing dads. I could talk to them all day.
Mirroring.
And you learn to just adapt to people, and that's the untrained sales skill. So I always say people do better than book smart people in the sales business.
Absolutely.
So if you're an emotionally intelligent person, you can read people and talk to people, you'll do better in sales than if you've read all the courses, but you can't make eye contact and you're awkward, you know?
And we're aligned in the regard that we're both have athletic backgrounds. Mm-hmm. We know discipline. We know being persistent. We know getting up when we get knocked down and having a strong mindset.
That's it.
And we hustled our asses off in the hospitality industry and know what sacrifice and hard work is there too. Mm-hmm. And I worked off gratuity. If these people didn't like me and I didn't connect with them and I didn't provide them value, I didn't make no money.
Yeah.
So, taking those skills and applying it to sales and learning the insurance industry, which really isn't that difficult, networks, deductibles, providers, benefits, how it works, and educating most of these Americans who don't know what the hell their plan even does for them. Mm-hmm. And you're actually starting to provide them value just by explaining what they have, explaining what's available into the market, and helping them get into the best position. Honestly, you don't sell everybody. And some people you don't sell, you do right by them, they still send you referrals. So that's when I go back to actually listening to people's situation, doing right by them, providing them value. So I decided, hey, I've done this for myself. Let me pay this forward to some of my other colleagues that I'd worked with in hospitality before and bring them in and see if they can do this.
Plus, they saw your proof of concept.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the case study, right? They have to see it. I didn't have that. That's why I was tentative when I went in. I didn't know anybody in the industry.
Yeah.
And I was like, so why should I trust this? How's it going to work? Now I did it, and I said, guys, come on. So I brought a couple people in, and this was in 2020 to start 2020.
So mid-COVID.
Yep, but right before COVID.
Okay.
Right before COVID. And started developing a team. And I was continuing as a top personal producer in the country, but also starting to recruit through Indeed, which was really the platform at that time. It's developed a lot since then, which I'll get to. But starting to bring people in and say, hey, do you have the mindset to do this? Do you have the time to commit in your life to do this? Do you have a couple bucks to get started, right? You can't be flat broke when you're coming in, or either. You have to pass some licensing through the state of Florida, et cetera. So getting the right type of hungry, ethical, coachable, like-minded, entrepreneurial mindset individuals in our room and showing them what's possible. And grew the team, You know, month after month, after that first 2 years, I ran into a little bit of a scaling issue because I'm bringing all these people in. I can't train them all. You need to develop more leaders. True leaders develop leaders, not just a bunch of followers. Yeah. Correct. So now I've scaled the team to 205 agents right now, and I have 15 leaders. And that is, to me, the biggest thing that I have helped accomplish within our sales force is showing leaders the way that are now making multiple 6- and 7-figure incomes and are really in a position to help other people develop. I never promote someone to leadership because they want to earn more money. That is a byproduct, yes, but I'll promote them because they genuinely want to help other human beings develop, and that's got to be the why. Even whether it's a leader, whether it's a new agent I'm bringing in, I'm saying, Tony, what's your why, man? Let's say you get all this money and this success. What are you going to do with it? What is your purpose? And you know, the saying is, they come for the cash, they stay for the culture, right?
Do you ever find that you want to promote someone that's like, nah, not me, not me?
I can see,
like, you see potential, but they don't.
Absolutely.
Because I find that interesting enough. Every time that I was like, almost every job I ever worked at when I was working for jobs, I was asked to be a manager of some sort.
Yep.
And that's eventually I was like, I took that same thing they recognized in me, and I was like, I'm just gonna start my own thing, right? Start my own business.
Right.
But for a while, I was like, I don't want that, and like, that's why you're good for this, because you just naturally just make sure shit gets done, and you don't look for the gloating, persona of it.
And it's like I said, doing the right things, good things are gonna come back. When you pour yourself, you need to be a servant leader. That's what I really show just by leading from the front, leading by example of what I've done to my leadership team. Is when you're a servant leader, you're not telling people what to do. You're showing them what to do. You're doing it first and saying, guys, come do this and you can be successful as well. Leading from the front is so important. So I ran into a little bit of an issue last year with bringing so many people in for recruits and not having as many leaders. And now we've doubled that leadership team this year. We have 15 leaders. That's given me the opportunity to be able to scale this and bring a lot of people into the opportunity. And the beauty of it, too, is you're making money in 6 ways through one career, which is weekly pay 52 times a year based on performance. We get paid monthly, we get paid quarterly, there are quarterly bonuses, there are annual bonus programs, and then there's that residual that comes every year when the clients stay on the book. So, you know, it's quick money, not like real estate where you have to develop that book initially for a minute before you really get earning, right? But it's also long money because of the residual when you're creating the relationships with the clients as well. So it's not for everybody. You have to sacrifice a lot. You got to work your butt off. There's no doubt. But it is the right vehicle that I've seen to become successful for many, many people. And I share the story when I go through interview processes with people, man. I hadn't been on a computer in 10 years. I was a bartender with a limited mindset. If I can do this, anybody can do this. I'm not that special. The opportunity is that special.
Yeah, that's Bob Proctor 101, man. I mean, I don't know how much you followed Bob, but one of the things Bob talks about in several of his books, one of them is Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life, is he met a guy that was in prison, and he would go to talk to people in prison and that were going to get out. Right. And Bob was like, I thought this is a good use of my time because these people were there for nonviolent crimes, but they're still locked away in Canada for things. And he's like, one of these guys within 4 years leaving prison was worth $10 million. Wow. Reading my books in there. He's like, he got out with no skills. He was not like a business executive professional. Right. Just mindset was able to change by the time he got out. It was like, boom, 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 done. And I love that because, yeah, anyone can develop, but it's like you have to have the reason. And so it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. It's like there are endless amounts of distraction around, right? And I think it's all one big test who can eliminate the distraction. So it's like everyone's got vices. I absolutely have vices. I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. It's one of my vices, right?
I'm joining that club with you, man.
We all have vices. I think it's probably the athletics. I always could burn it off, so I just got used to high-octane food. And I was like, I'm good. I'm going to train
Finish
tonight.
with some sweets.
But it's like we all have vices, so I'm not saying we all have vices, but some people's vices are big vices, and they're distraction vices. So it's like you can look online right now, and you can see someone with worse circumstances that have achieved bigger things, and then you can look at what they did to do it, but it's like, why haven't you done it? So you talk to someone 2 years later. What about the thing you were going to start? What about the business you were going to do? Like, they don't ever do it, and you wonder why. They got too distracted. Well, the trip came up, and then they got this girlfriend, and then and this thing happened, and they got in this hobby for a few months. So I think in the business, for instance, if you're going to get into the sales business of insurance, like if I was going to approach the sales business of insurance, I think it's because of that competitive background, because of the ownership I take. I would go, I'm only doing this if I'm going to go in to fucking smash everyone's sales records. Like, that's what I would think. I was like, I'm not going to go in there just to, like, contend. I want to go in there and be like, yo, that dude changed this whole thing in a year. That's how I would think. And some people are going to be like that. So like, what is one of the best things you look for when you're recruiting self-starting potential in people? Like if you're looking to recruit, not the leaders, salespeople, what do you look for in them? They need to have what is
hunger.
Like $300 to $600 for the licensing?
Hunger.
How much?
Yeah, it's about $450 for the licensing, but I really want to set people up for success, Tony. They don't have to have a bunch of money in the bank, but I want to make sure they have 2 months of income. Okay. I want to make sure that they're stable and they're not just scrounging to make a sale or have to come in and put in this time of training that costs me a lot of money and time and my leader's effort to train them, and then they're out in 3 weeks because they didn't have the money right. So
are they selling on the phone?
Yes.
So their presentation right away isn't as important.
No, right away they're learning the skills.
Come in there
they're learning the scripts. They're learning the products. They're learning the psychology of sales, the skill set, the mindset. They're able to be in a runner's program when they're starting for the first couple of weeks, which basically they pass the deal off to a senior person that sells it and they make half the money. But within 2 to 3 weeks, they're cleared to close. They can present to me and I say, Tony, you're ready to go, man. You're ready to sell. Mm-hmm. Now you're earning 100% commission. Now you're building your book of business and creating that residual income. So yes, we help them with the licensing process. You have to pass a state fingerprinting.
How hard is that test to take?
Simple.
Yeah.
1 to 2 weeks, you pass the exam, you study your butt off, you go in there, you get the fingerprints done, you show up. We do a onboarding class on the first Monday of every month with a group of new agents, so they learn in a classroom setting together. We also do one-on-one trainings every night, so they get hands-on training every day, and there is a whole leadership upline that is assigned to that agent's development. So we are extremely vested into the new agent experience, and when I do expectation meetings in the hiring process, I'm not just selling the dream. I'm extremely clear and direct and transparent about exactly what I expect out of you. This many hours, this many dollars, this many months. This is what the leads look like. This is what everything looks like. Now, this is what you're going to get from your leadership team. And please, in our business partnership, I'm not your boss. We are business partners. And we need to be able to hold each other accountable in that process. So I tell them extremely clearly what they're going to get, what we're looking for. If we're aligned, we do business together, and we help them get started. So I'm looking for people that are hungry, people that have a strong why, people that aren't going to get that money and float into I'm comfortable land. Let me go blow it on bottles and strippers and whatever the hell land, right?
That's it, man. That's it.
So, and if I'm the leader.
You are in Tampa, though, right? So there's a lot of those guys, right?
But if I was doing that, what would they be doing?
Right. Yeah, so that's what we're going to lead into right now. So let's talk Max Willett maxed out presentation, right? So you're dripping right now, right? And
thank you,
you know, like you pull up in the beautiful G-Wagon. The presentation is important to you. In a phone sales business, you're not actually going into boardrooms and presenting sales. Right. Why is that something you value so much?
So initially, where I came from in hospitality, the way we did present ourselves, the facial expressions, the hand gestures, the attire and everything did matter on top of that smile and what you're actually saying. So I know that the client is not seeing that. We do screen share presentations with people so they see what's on our screen. We shop together, but they're not actually seeing the agent's face. 2 parts. One is the recruiting aspect. Mm-hmm. When I'm bringing dozens and dozens of people into our 27,000 square foot office with 250 plus agents in there, because there's myself and one other small team that's in the office too, what is the product they're seeing? The first person they see at the front desk, the receptionist, she better have her makeup right. She better be dressed professional. The lighting's good. The temperature's good. The music's good. The room is clean. Every aesthetic is important. And then they look out in the sales floor. How do my partners, my agents, look? When they hit their milestones initially, I get them a Louis Vuitton tie. I get them a belt. We get them a pair of shoes to reward performance. But what happens to the rest of the people? They're attracted to that because everybody looks like they're getting money. And they are. But that aesthetic to attract a recruit, not only in the office environment, but in the community when people are driving around, walking around, going to dinner, going to the gym.
What do you do, bro? Yeah.
Correct. Mm-hmm. It starts the conversation without you even having to open your mouth. And it's not all about the shiny material things, but in our world, that initial attraction starts the conversation. Then what you actually say when you open your mouth and the value you can provide someone and the opportunity you have, which is what's most important. But let's start that conversation without even having to open our mouths.
Yeah. And I think you're going to agree with this too, is like how you look has a lot to do with how you feel.
Correct.
So I work from home sometimes. And when I work from home, like I got a pretty sweet situation at home. I got an ice bath. I got a gym at home.
Nice.
I got lounge chairs in the sun. So I'll be in a bathing suit taking calls all day. But there's days I'm in the bathing suit at home and I'm bopping around. I might not even be as sharp on the phone.
You're a little in mellow land.
Yeah, I'm chilling, you know. Like when I'm in here dressed like this, I'm in the office and I'm talking to clients. I'm just with it more. And so something about how we feel changes how we show up, how we talk, the ambitions we have. And I made a video last week that I think you were saying this, what you're referring to. I was like, if there was two versions of me, like I had a twin brother, okay? So we're the same height and same structure.
The fat slob.
Yeah. He's 250, I'm 210. He's got a grown out neck. I have a trim beard, right? We go through all of it, right? Yeah. He presents like shit. I'm going to kill him in any opportunity we're in, no matter what opportunity. I mean, he's done.
And everybody else is going to want to work with him instead of you.
Right. Vice versa, me instead of him.
Excuse me.
He's done, bro.
No, he's out. Yeah. They don't want to mess with him. They want to work with you.
So, we always tell our people, too, part of our team, and even the clients we coach on camera, imagine this real quick. This is a little bit of a drift, but it's a similar topic. We sell a visual service, right? So when someone hires us to come shoot reels or branding or listings, we show up with the tools and we shoot them. If they don't like how they look and how they're hating on themselves, oh, my neck looks fat, oh, my gut, oh, I wish it. I mean, these are people that we hear from clients, right? They're gonna perceive that on us, like, oh man, like you guys, I didn't like working with them. Yeah, because you don't like how you look, So it's like it's so important, like how you look absolutely affects how you walk into a room.
You can coach them on that, but you can't comb their hair and beard and put the suit.
Gym, and I can't slap the Oreos out of their hand on the couch at night, right? You can't do that. So we always, I had a video I did when I was on iHeartRadio 2 weeks ago, and I was like, guys, you want the master hack to weight loss and presenting? Start getting on video. Because you're going to look at yourself every time you do video, and you're going to go, I'm going to fix this shit.
Yep.
Like, you're going to have motivation. If you never get on camera because you're hiding from camera, you don't know. But yes, the way you present absolutely matters. And men and women have a little bit of difference because women can present a little bit too over-sexualized sometimes.
Agreed.
And so then they don't realize it's deterring their business. For instance, like if you're in sales, real estate, maybe insurance, cars, men are like, hey, let's meet at 8 tonight for a martini, and I want to talk the deal. It's not really about the deal, right? And we know that. So men, I was just saying this, like if a man dresses up, they're still going to be in a suit. I'm completely covered. There's no skin out on Max, right? So it's like you can say he's dressing up, but he's not dressing down. So there's a difference in the presentation. So sometimes this can be deterred, and women are like, yeah, I'm going to dress up, but it's actually by wearing less. That's not the move that I would say in sales, because you'll deter a lot of people for all the clients that you attract, especially in real estate. Let's say you attract one 45-year-old New York millionaire investor who wants to buy a property in Tampa, but the majority of people are married, and their wives are going to be deterred by the way you just presented, and they're going to be like, you ain't going to spend time with her. She's just not going to be our real estate agent. So presentation matters. There's a way to do it tastefully, but the point is it should be something people take care of.
I completely agree, and what you said at best is how you look is how you feel. There's a soundbite, a quote from Deion Sanders. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. Right?
Yeah.
So
we heard Chad and Catherine said that yesterday.
And it's so true. Yeah. And we kind of talk about that in our office, which is what we show these new people when they're coming in, because they have that question like you did. Max, we're selling over a phone virtually. They never see us. Why can't I be sitting here in my sweatpants? So here's the second part of why I said that presentation is important. One is the recruiting aspect. Two is the performance of the agent and leader aspect. When you look in the mirror, Tony, when you get up in the morning, how do you feel when you look at yourself? You're a boss. You're going to go win the day. You're going to go win the day.
Yeah.
If you're looking like a slob in your sweatpants, you're probably going to be a little bit not as sharp, not as articulate as you could be on that phone call. When I'm running my training and I have 60 agents in the new class that are sitting there looking at myself, I'm presenting myself to the nines head to toe, right? And I want to follow that guy. And now your words even carry more weight because of how you're presenting yourself as well. So, it's the substance behind what you say and how you act. But that first attention grabber of the aesthetic appearance is extremely important as well. So I feel like as agents develop and they can, I don't want them blowing their money on a bunch of designer. I do not push that at all. I try to put it on them with the leaders' dollars when they earn it via the incentives that we put out for them.
What's your take on this? Because we're just having this conversation topic off. It's like, and I think it's more preference. Like I watched this Instagram clip that was shared on the Wealth Instagram channel yesterday. I don't know if you've seen that fake designer brand called Palessi. Did you see that thing they did? So they made a fake designer store. If you guys heard of it, it was in LA. They opened this thing. They promoted it well. It was a prank show, but they did a really good intricate play where they made a designer store named Palessi. Very designer, very bougie. It was shoes and some stuff inside. They're selling shoes for $600 to $1,000, and they had a big grand opening. Influencer, they allowed certain people that were able to come buy the shoes. They came and they did their transactions. They're buying $1,000 these sneakers, these heels, etc. And the dig was these are actually Payless shoes. these are all from Payless.
We put it in a designer boutique and y'all fell for it.
And so there's something to that. So it's like I absolutely love like women love the red bottom shoes, and several of our clients wear those when they do content days, and they're like, get the shoes, and it's like, of course we'll get the shoes, right? We love that. But it's like, for me, I personally don't give a shit. So it's like, I'll go to Express and buy a stretch fit suit, go get it tailored. I'm in and out for $500.
Right.
I walk in with a fit body. The suit fits me well. I feel good in it, and I feel like it does a great job. How do you tell your staff or your team or your partners in that way? Like, are you like, hey guys, designer is the way to go, or you're like, hey, just look good, feel good,
look good and feel good, and be responsible with your money, and don't blow it just because it got in your pocket.
Yeah.
I want you guys to really win in this. I want you guys to be able to take this money you make, yes, and pour it back into your business, because that's how you grow a business when you're self-employed.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Investing into yourself, but you can put it into other avenues in real estate and other things as well. But you really have to earn it first. As I've came up, I've realized that I feel broke, man. I feel
like Vic, right?
I feel like there are so many levels to go in this world. And an agent comes in and they start making 10K a week, and I'm like, that's great, man. But don't get on your high horse. Don't get in your trophy room. You have to look up, and now you've taken a step up and you went up a level.
Yeah.
Now let's look how many other levels there are to reach, and be responsible with the money you're making. So no, I'm not telling them you need to go buy designer. I'm telling them I want you to look good. I want you to perform good. I want you to set a good example for the people that are coming up within our team that want to be leaders, that want to be like you, and the new recruits we're bringing into the opportunity. But please be responsible for your money and invest it back into yourself and into your business, because that's how it multiplies and pays dividends.
Yeah. And it is status-based, right? Andrew Tate talks this a lot, right? Yep. We do things for status. So it's like, the reason why I want to have a Ferrari is because you know that you don't have one. And it's like, there's something to that, right? So like, for instance, someone's got a Rolex. I don't have a Rolex, but we are still checking our phone for the time. Right? You with me?
Definitely still checking our phone.
And so it's like, Rolex are dope, but the reason why Rolex is a dope watch is because you know that Rolex was 20 G's, 18 G's. You know they're expensive. That's why we like those things. And there's a status that signifies we've done something right. So in business, why those things matter is because someone has those things. You go, well, they're obviously making some right moves. They wouldn't have it if they weren't. Doesn't mean all of them. My brother is a multimillionaire net worth. He'll show up with board shorts and sandals to go buy a truck cash. He's an ER doctor. Nice. And he's not a flashy guy at all. He doesn't give a shit about things like that. His whole thing is like, I pay my house cash. My truck's paid cash. He's different. He's not like with the flash, but he's a different industry. He's not looking to recruit or market. Exactly. He's in the ER, so he has no reason to be known. It doesn't help him at all. People come in there with trauma, and he's got a constant influx, recession-proof business. So he's smart in that way. But in the industry of needing to be known, which is what we're going to get to now, investing in yourself is huge. So Grant talked about the first 3 things you spend your money on. Do you remember this thing? Number 1 is in yourself. He's like, invest in your swag, man. If you don't have some nice clothes, go out and get something decent so you feel good. Then invest in your education and your network. Be here. Okay, he was talking about at RiseCon. He's like, that's your second investment. Right. Third, you throw it in your business. And then once you have a cash-producing business that's cash flowing you money, then you start to invest in investments. Then you buy real estate, you buy stocks, you start to put money other places. And I like that structure of it.
For sure.
So being known, advertising, creating content, that's word of mouth these days.
Right.
People aren't in person enough for word of mouth to carry that much. We're not hearing things through person. You know, we don't go to school anymore, right? Of course, you guys are in a big office, so it might seem sometimes like you're seeing everyone every day, but that's just the people that work in the industry. But word of mouth is on social media now.
It is.
Word of mouth, like when Liver King exploded because we all seen him. Everyone's sharing this crazy guy all over the place, right? So what type of emphasis do you guys put into content creation and branding and being known in the insurance business?
That's a great question. And the way that our industry has worked is that it hasn't been forward in that space. And I am changing that. And as the agents reach out to people that are needing help with coverage, there's no branding or marketing or advertising that needs to be done to do that. As we work with recruits through Indeed, yes, that's reaching out to people looking for employment, but it's not in the space of they actually see what we're doing and they actually follow us and buy into the culture and buy into the opportunity as much. So over the last, not even a year now, probably since the end of last year, really this year, really leading up to RiseCon, as I've put more investment back into myself in terms of content and being able to share that amongst my people to get them to do the same thing as well. I've really understood how valuable that is, Tony, and it doesn't always pay instant dividends. That's the thing.
It's not, but no investment does.
No investment does, but people want instant
besides
gratification.
a casino,
Right.
that you're going to go in and make instant money. You can go to the casino and you can roll a lucky hand and cool, I made 5 Gs and I put 100 down. That's not like that. But there's no investment where you're going to buy a house. What are you going to buy? Maybe crypto when it was hot.
Right.
You're not going to make money that fast. So all investors, the way they build wealth is they play the long game. And the cool thing with digital assets like content is they are the long game. So, for instance, I posted a reel like 4 weeks ago. Oh, dude, I posted a reel a year ago, actually. And it's popping off again for some reason right now. It was a collaboration with a swimwear company.
Nice.
But it's just like starting to surge and get comments again. I'm like, that's the perfect example. It's an asset. It's not dying. It's still out there. When you have YouTube, that's a whole nother level for it. And Instagram's another level for it. So these things, they do take some time. But that is the first place people go to vet you, right? So
it's your resume.
When you look at anybody, if your friend's dating a new girl, look at this girl. He'll show you the Instagram.
Right.
Or she's going to show her girlfriends, hey, this guy's taking me out to dinner tonight. They're going to show her IG. Or if you're looking to go work at someone. So when I go to your page presents very, very well. It looks good. It screams competence. There's a word that I love to use. I use it at my classes when I teach my classes. It screams activity. Activity is what people care about. So no one gives a shit if you did something really big last year and you've been chilling for a year.
Right.
In real estate or in insurance, like, are you active? What's your day-to-day activity like?
What did you do last week?
Yeah. Some say, I don't like to judge people for them right now. Like if someone looks overweight or they are broke right now because they lost money on a failed business venture, no one can hate on that. You tried something. But it's like, are you spending time tomorrow and the next day doing stuff? Because if not, then I can start to hate on you because you're not doing anything and I want to be around you. So there's an activity level that you see through social media. So when you go to someone's page, you go, wow, they're on it. They really believe in this, man. And what I love to see is when people, their entire identity doesn't scream their business, but it's a big part of it. So when you go to their account, you're like, hey, this is a real human being.
It's a lifestyle.
You see some fun stuff they do, but they also make it like this. So we always say like 30% of your content should be what you do. The rest can be who you are.
That's a balance that I'm working to improve upon, because it is very business heavy, because that has become my lifestyle.
Yep.
But let's say you have all the success and affluence, that buys freedom. That's what it's about. So you need to be able to have that work-life balance and show some of the lifestyle of enjoyment and freedom, because that's what people want to see. So we developed a website, maxwillett.com, that gives some insight to how our team runs, and it portrays some of how my leaders operate as well and puts them on the platform that they've earned. At the end of the day, Tony, I can't do this by myself, man.
Yeah, you need
200
people.
plus agents. It's about the team that you're doing it with, and my leaders, Brian Fuller, Preeta Patel, Chad Douglas, AJ Baker, Jason Greif, a number of people that we've really grown this with. I am so grateful for. Because we can go much, much further as a unit, as a team, in any area of life than we can as an individual by ourselves. And in the beginning, like as a personal producer, it was just me, me, me. And now I learned, wow, we can have such a bigger impact and influence on others in the community and in the world, help way more clients, help way more recruits into this opportunity if we're doing it as a squad and we're aligned. So creating this content that I've started to do, that Preeta started to do, that Brian started to do, we're showing the sales force now, guys, this is the future. I'm doing calls with our company nationally saying, I'm in 35 Crunch Fitnesses across Florida. It's freaking blowing up.
If you're in Crunch, guys, look for Max.
It's
He's
blowing
all
up.
over the screens in there.
I mean, in the last 2 weeks since it's been up, I've had probably 14 phone calls now with people that have booked with me through my QR code, and I've already hired 5 of them.
Yeah,
because they're in the gym working their butts off.
And
they grab the QR code, they see the website, they see the IG, that creates the belief and interest, and they see the activity.
Yeah. Well, you've also got a good plug at Crunch because you definitely got a better exposure. I'm part of that corporate advertising. And
really?
I'm getting very limited exposure because they pitched it to me when I was signing up there as like a lower membership. I need to get what you got because it's tons of exposure, and you've got a video running.
I got video running.
Speaking of your leaders, I had Chad in here yesterday.
Yeah.
And we had Seth in here, and they're following your lead. They use you as an example. They go, man, Max is doing content, is really behind it. So it's like they're making it very clear that you're encouraging them to do it. And I absolutely know that building your brand through social media video is what transfers these days. There's no disadvantage to being known and being seen and having someone think of you when they think of that thing. So again, I always try to give the example of what would I do if I were going to go sell insurance. I would make it very hard for people that know me to not know that I sell insurance. So, and if they trust me, they already know that I'm not a dumbass. They would go, well, when I'm going to buy insurance, I'm going to call Tony because he's probably got a pretty good offer for me. He's going to help me out with it. So that's the idea, is like to make sure when people think of this thing, think of you. If you think of car sales, they think of you, and then they need to be known for your thing, right? But there's a balance that we like to go over. It's not just only your thing, because then you get that unfollow, you get that mute, right? We try to avoid that. We're showing some concept of who the person is. So, we teach this in our business. We've got an online course that teaches this, makes it very simple, because a lot of people are not leaders in business and they can't get to the investment point where they can put $3K, $5K monthly into video content to look as professional. So we made a very easy option for intro agents that can use their phone to do a great job of doing this. So I'm looking forward to getting into that with some of your people. And
that's so valuable. I'm really looking forward to it as well. We're pumped up to have you because that can give so much value to them for a low cost, even when they think, oh, I need all this beautifully curated content with all these transitions and music and all this stuff. No, you're going to be able to teach them, which is extremely valuable to me and all of our leaders on, first of all, the confidence just to get in front of the camera, man. You can mess it up. You can stumble on a word. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect.
That's our first section in the course. It's all about getting comfortable on camera, because that's most people's biggest struggle.
It's about getting outside of the box. And whether it's Seth coming from a fitness industry, Chad coming from a hospitality industry, we're not in this social media space of let's get in front of the camera and do all these things like we've seen others do at a high level. But you got to take that first step. You got to jump in. Change is uncomfortable, but it's inevitable. And you have to be able to understand it's coming, and you have to be able to pivot and adapt when it comes and get with the times. Because like you said, this is the future. There's only so many minutes in a day. We're not at every happy hour or every other social interaction or gathering.
We don't have time.
With word of mouth. The word of mouth is now on a social platform.
Yeah, omnipresence. That's the idea. Again, 10X rule. That's the part that I love in 10X rule is omnipresence is impossible, but it should be the goal for us, which is I want to have people walk up to me at RiseCon and say, dude, I see your videos everywhere. And I want to have someone else be like, wait, you don't know Tony? And they tell you about it and they follow my page. And then before you know it, dude, I just saw a video of you last night and now they're in person. I'm meeting them at networking dinner, right? That's what needs to happen. So within a week, if you touch someone 3, 4, 5 times, whether it's in person or through social or through they hear your name, it starts to not be able to forget about you. It's like, yo, this person do something again, because that screams activity to them. And they go, well, this person, the momentum's so real in business. That's why they say winners keep winning, right? Winning breeds winning.
Winners
like
attract winners.
And you're going up. It's like, it's almost not fair in a lot of ways, right? Because it's like, there's a joke that Jay was saying, like we do tons of brand collaborations, right? Like, and Jay was like, it's interesting because like the more exposure and the more money you make, the more free shit you get too.
Right.
So brands are like, here's my stuff, just take it, because it's like, well, I'm in a position where I could buy it more than I ever have been, but they're like, no, we want you to use it and post about it. And that's a whole nother thing, but winning breeds winning. So when you can be omnipresent is what we're really trying to teach. So imagine an insurance agent or a team lead or a recruiting team lead that is doing what you're doing and in crunch, all over social media, being talked about, being seen on this podcast, being talked to you by someone that's an auditor that saw you pull up, being known as the guy who has that G-Wagon, being known for different things too. That helps too. Because if it's like, hey, when you think of Max, the guy with the guy with the thing in his suit is maxed out. Like that's a great way because it's the first touch point.
Right.
And then they had that really nice satin black G-Wagon. Oh, what does he do again? Oh, it's insurance. I want to look into that.
Right.
It goes like this, right? It doesn't always have.
Grant Cardone said it best. You have to sear your brand into their mind.
That's it. I love that.
Sear their brand, and you got to keep showing up. Hey, it's me again.
That's it.
Hey, it's Max again. Hey, it's Tony again.
Hit the link. No, that's it. I think we had someone in here earlier today. That was what I was talking to him. He showed me this amazing concept he has. He's a mortgage guy. He also played golf all through college. So he goes out to the golf course, and he films videos of him giving tips and tricks on mortgage hacks, but also while he's golfing.
Yep.
I'm like, this is phenomenal. And his name is the golfing mortgage guy.
Cool.
And I was like, that's a brand right there, dude. That's a brand that will stick. There's only one way you can fuck this up. And he looks at me and he's like, what? And I was like, if you stop. I was like, if you stop. If you don't hammer out this for 60 days straight, you're gonna lose this opportunity. I'm like, keep going, dude. Don't get bored. Don't over prioritize other things. Like, keep on that. The content game is not that challenging, but the consistency. Going back to my biggest point I'm making is all life is full of little distractions, little shiny objects, and they'll take you off. Oh, it got really busy. I'm really tired. It's 11 p.m. I haven't edited a reel, and I don't have time to do it tonight. Bullshit. You do have time. You can edit a reel in 10 minutes, and then you can take your ass to bed. You can wake up and do it again tomorrow. But it's that consistency people don't do. So, of course, when you get to a point, like when Vic started social media, he already had made money. So he's able to hire a media team, hire people to post and create and strategize. No one is going to start like that. Right. He's a very rare case. Most people are going to start by, I got this, and I can do it on my own. I'm going to get some clients from that, get some income coming. Now I'm going to hire you guys to do it. And then maybe at a certain point, Max is like, you know what? I'm going to hire my own in-house media team.
Oh, yeah.
And that's great. That's what it leads to, right? But I always have to start somewhere with the media. So the consistency is where people lose. And I wish there was a way that you could teach that. You can lead, you can show it. But for instance, what makes someone a good salesperson on the phone? Isn't it repetition?
It's anything in life is consistency and repetition and just putting in the action over and over and over and over and getting that practice.
Yeah.
Is
that why you did well?
That's why I did well, because I got rejected more than anybody. I had more failures. I had more hardships. I had to learn the hard way multiple times. And many people, that knocks them off their course and defers them.
They
and
get
sets
all
them back
emotionally
and
involved.
They want to quit.
Yeah. They get
And like, you have to keep going. You have to grow through the failures and turn them into a success. If you learned a lesson from when I didn't handle that objection properly and I got hung up on, but now I know, and I got some practice from that, and I know how to say it this way next time, and I keep the client on the phone long enough so I can actually provide them value and help them. I learned from that failure, and it's going to create, higher trajectory of success moving forward. So I completely agree. In anything you do in life, it is about consistency. It is about building momentum. You got to keep your foot on the gas when it's working well, and it's really about, like, in sales, whether it's going through those experiences and hardships and learning from them. It's about being genuine and providing other people value. And if they don't feel like you're going to sell them shit, but just have a conversation with another human being, tell them about what you do, ask more questions. If you're in sales and you want to keep a conversation going when there's like that I don't know where to go next or that dead part, ask the next question. Be a human being and talk to people and try to understand how to help them and what their problem is. You solve their problem, and you're genuine and authentic about it, and give some insight about yourself too, and then they can connect with it, find commonalities, find that common ground where you're relatable and they like you. They want to do business with you, whatever you have. You've got a great product behind you. It makes it even easier.
It's something you thought about. I have solar on my roof. Funny enough, there was a solar guy that came by, and he was doing a training with another solar salesman. And I opened the door, and I was like, yeah, dude, you got solar here? He's like, no shot. And he's looking at his papers, and it's, for some reason, they have a list of who does and who doesn't.
Right.
We were not on the list, but we do. And so we just ended up talking, and we ended up talking for like 30 minutes because he sees my home gym and he sees some of my punching bags, some of my weights, and we're in the garage. And it's funny. I'm like, this guy's so cool. I wish I could buy something from him. Like, I was like, he was cool. I'm like, that's well done in that way. We exchanged Instagrams. We still have each other on social. Like, I didn't want to not know him.
But
anymore.
if you know somebody that needs solar, you might send them there.
Exactly.
Because of how
Solar Sam, and his Solar Sam on Instagram. So it's so true, right? And if I hear someone post about it, I know the guy, right? And that's it. That's the whole point. Someone thinks of you when they think of that thing, right? And so that's what it takes. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure. Where can they find you on social media?
_max.out. That's my IG. So maxed out, that's my handle. That's my team name. That's what I'm about. And just to give some insight as to what that means, what is maxed out? Putting forth your full effort, your full energy to reach your maximum potential, which is becoming the best version of yourself. That's what we're about. And also www.maxwillett.com. That's 2 L's, 2 T's. So definitely look us up in terms of what our team's doing, in terms of how many people we're helping. And if you're interested in an opportunity to change your life, to make passive residual income and help a lot of people in the process, tap in. Happy to set up a call and look forward to bringing you into the team.
Love it, man. Guys, Tony and Max out.